Hello, oh, there we go. Why, hello, everyone. Welcome to DnDTime Behind the Screen. I am Dungeon Master Jeremy, aka Trust a Flump, and we're gonna make some crazy dungeons today. For those who may not be familiar with Behind the Screen, or with DnDTime in general, let me give you, a quick gist of how we do things. So, Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime is our kind of premiere show. Me and other Dungeon Master. Alright, apparently Spacebar changes scenes. Learn that lesson. Thank you, OBS. Anywho, Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime is our premiere show. We host it every Friday here on twitch.tv, where myself and the other Dungeon Master, Pete, run 3 one-shot adventures. They're each about an hour long. It's really goofy and fun, so check that out if you are new. And yeah, but for this show, I'm setting up, preparing, building a one-shot dungeon crawl adventure. The intent is to be about 3 or 4 hours long, and I run this for our show called DnDTime Delves, which we run every Sunday. Which should be a ton of fun. It's going to be really cool. I've never actually, I'm not saying I've never run a one-shot from scratch, but I've never come online and had us, meaning myself and you, the beautiful chat people, put together a one-shot from scratch. So it's going to be interesting. Hello, chat. How are you? Let's see, I see Jonathan PLA 4685. Welcome, my friend. It's good to see you. And hello, Bionic Shiba. And I see Wyvern Soul hanging out as well. Well, how are y'all doing today? I know I'm doing pretty good myself. I know what I need to do. I need to turn this air conditioner down because I am melting. Air conditioner, please. Why are you doing? Why you do? All right, well. We're going to settle for where that is. One request so far. You know, Shiba, we can figure out that request once we start, I think. All right, I think my air conditioner is starting better now. Oh, it turned off. All right, we're good now. Sorry about that, everyone. I am crazy hectic today. So yeah, Bionic Shiba mentioned earlier in the Discord chat earlier in the week that one of the things he wanted in here was to have random old men injured on the ground so that the party murders. Exactly, Wyvern Soul, you know the party is going to murder these old people because they're just evil. They're like, oh, obviously a trap, but really it's just a poor saddled guy. Anywho, yeah, we're doing something very different today. Usually in this show, what we do is we take one of the 4th edition adventures from the book Dungeon Delve, and we convert it for 5th edition, set it up in Roll20. That's what you can see over here. It is the virtual tabletop called Roll20. It is free, however, I do use a paid subscription to get some cool new features like dynamic lighting, which we'll go over soon. Literally just an old man with 1 HP. You know, Shiba, I'm not sure if you're an evil person or because you're making them do bad things. That feels like it's bad by association. Yet I digress. Yeah, this should be a lot of fun. We're gonna be starting pretty much from the ground up. I remember your dungeon. So yeah, we're gonna be starting from the ground up today. I have a whole slew of monsters. The one thing I've decided is we're level 14, which is a very high level. That might have been a really dumb choice, but I've pulled together a whole crapload of monster options, many of which are from Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, but they're all pulled in, ready to use. It should be fun. I have pulled together, and this was a pain, a bunch of dungeon tiles pulled from the Dungeon Delve thing. So that should be real cool. We should be able to just click and drag these onto the map and build the map. And hopefully this works good. Hey, the Forgotten One. Welcome to the show, bud. So I guess the first thing that we got to do, the first thing that you ever really need to do when you're making a one-shot adventure, whether you're converting a one-shot from a previous edition, whether you're building your own one-shot, or even whether you're running a pre-made one-shot, because a lot of pre-made one-shots even don't do this super well, is we need to figure out what our adventure hook is. What is the reason that our heroes are going on this adventure? So I'm gonna crack open my notepad. I love notepad. I keep all my little notes in here, which is why you can't see these two tabs. They're special. I feel like we need some dwarves. The Forgotten One's asking, what level is the adventure? We're going level 14, real high level. Wyvern, if we're putting some dwarves in here, we're gonna have to really make some interesting dwarves. I will say I didn't prep any dwarves, but you know what? That doesn't mean we can't use dwarves. Maybe there are good dwarves and the party has to rescue them. We'll find out. But yeah, so our adventure hook. What is our adventure hook? This is kind of our first step. What kind of one-shot adventure do we want to run? Is it a... oh, Christ. See, this is very difficult to kind of think up now because we gotta throw ideas off each other. Do we want to run a classic fun, another ogre adventure? We could run an ogre adventure. One of the things I was thinking of, because I think it could be a ton of fun, is we could well, I don't have swamp tiles ready. One of the things is it's a dungeon. It's a proper dungeon of some kind, because those are the adventure tiles that I have ready for today. So that's the one thing I do know. I don't know. I was thinking what could be really cool is maybe like a lich's kind of tomb. And so we can go like from like a fun house kind of approach where we can just put whatever the hell we want in each room. Where this is just a mad lich built this place, and maybe we can come up with a cool name for the lich and come up with what crazy things show up in different rooms. Exploring an old tower where a strange smoke has been appearing recently. I suppose. The Forgotten One, what do you mean by smoke? What are you hitting on with that? Is this a reference that I'm totally missing? I feel like it's gotta be. I miss a lot of stuff, guys. I'm very inattentive. We gotta make it so that they're terrible. Sheba, don't worry, we'll put in plenty of opportunities for the players to be the bad guys. Uprising in a cave dungeon thing. It'd be a little odd. So I guess let's first think about what level. So what level are we looking at, and what does that mean? And while I'm talking through this, guys, please feel free to shoot ideas in the chat. I am paying astute attention. It is right in front of my face. I cannot miss it. So, like, if we're talking about level 14. So I've already decided we're playing at level 14. All the players for tomorrow's game of Delves are prepped for level 14, or they should be prepped for level 14. We'll see. So level 14 is a very high level in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. It is a level where players have, I think, 7th level spells. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have 7th. Yeah, they have 7th level spells by level 14. I think even some classes are hitting close to their capstones and abilities. I'm not sure if any actually quite get to a capstone at that level, but at that point, characters are very powerful, is I guess what I'm getting at. Wizards might hit a capstone at level 14. Barbarians hit a capstone, a subclass. Yeah, okay. Classes are getting their subclass capstones at level 14. They're getting big class features. So they're going to be really strong. When we look at what kind of challenge rating we're looking at, right? We're going to have to think of something that is considerably higher and also some things that are quite a bit lower than 14. So I think our range is anywhere from like 11 to 17, just plus or minus 3 in terms of like reasonable threats. With a few exceptions, you can put in some really low level creatures if they're for a good reason. It can be the effective ritual of something, maybe a culinary loving mage working on a combination of food with a powerful creature. We could be Forgotten One. Normally, these one-shots aren't really tied in with DnDTime. But we could make a DnDTime adventure. It's just a little funky because Delves is so combat heavy, usually. If we're doing a lich, can we get an undead dragon? Oh, a Draco Lich. Whew. I mean, I suppose we could, right? Why not? Hmm. Gotta make... The problem with having a Draco Lich is we did a Draco Lich once. Gotta make that last boss to Celestial because they were doing evil stuff the whole time. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I think we need, for this one, because we're going so kind of off the cuff, I really would like to try and stick with something a little more... a little less weird. Because, like, we are kind of... I want to build this together. I don't want to be this... I want this to be... Jeremy just builds the whole dungeon in front of you all. Watch. You know, I want this to be something we can all work on, kind of as a group. Do we have any ideas on location? No, that's one of the things I'm interested in. If y'all have any ideas. Oh, actually, why did I close that? I want that notepad open. So, let's start scratching down ideas. Gotta make him evil. Make him evil. So, I like that, right? They have a lot of situations that can... situations which put PCs in morally dubious situations. So the thing about this, right, is if players embrace the, like, trying to be good aspect, like they're trying to be good characters, which we can bake that into an adventure hook, right? Then this is gonna be great. So, like, for example, there could be a room which has some sort of Libra-esque scales with a cage full of slaves on one side and treasure on the other, or something like that, right? Something that makes them choose between, like, lives versus lives versus loot, or something like that would be interesting. But actually, you were saying old man just kind of lying on the ground in pain. Sure, they'll probably just murder him because it's a dungeon and they're like, oh, that's a trap. What else do we think would be interesting? I'm looking for all sorts of different ideas here. I mean, let's look at monsters people are interested in. Monsters. We had ideas for a celestial. You were evil the whole time. What else? The problem is that, oh god, change slaves to puppies. I'm in. Okay, so that'd be super evil right there. Christ. Trying to be good. Illusion. How many turns? Getting trapped. Yeah, but here's the thing about that, the Forgotten One. And, like, I totally get the whole illusions tricking them into killing innocent people deal. But, like, what that comes down to in the end, I feel, is, like, the players will be like, well, I don't feel bad because, like, I thought I was doing the right thing, so whatever. So sometimes I think that would work really well, but other times, I don't know. I feel like it just won't come across the way we're looking at it here. Yeah, exactly. There's not a lot of choice. It's making them choose the wrong thing, knowing it's the wrong thing. And maybe instead of treasure here, we look at magic items. Magic items. Yeah, right. I think that's the goal of the morally dubious thing. We want to put them in situations where there's no good... Well, there is a good choice, but it's a greedy choice. Sometimes characters drown themselves. Yeah, sometimes characters drown themselves, Shiva. Let's see. So we got Monster Celestials. We have Undead. I'm going to just put forward... I think Fiends are really cool. There are a lot of really sick Fiends in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. I think they'd be pretty radical. Let's start thinking about locations. So locations. It is a dungeon of some kind. So maybe it's like a tomb. I'm going to put a bunch of notes here. Oh. Tomb, or what else could it be besides a tomb? I kind of want to do like a parody on the Tomb of Annihilation, or sorry, the Tomb of Horrors, almost. It's like, ah, yes, ass crack, the Demi-Lich. That might be interesting. Treasure is mimics, series mimics. Yeah, maybe. That might not be a bad idea. Put a note up here, the Forgotten One was suggesting that maybe we put the treasure be mimics. But do we want to put it? I don't know. It all depends, right, on if they buy in with a trying to be good thing. Because they don't buy in on that. They just don't care. That doesn't really make a difference. That's why I don't want to hinge the whole adventure on that. But let's see. Let's start thinking of some of these monsters. So I'm actually going to go over to our monster options. We can start looking through them. Oh, actually, let me look at this. Wyvern Soul being the hero. Mountain, old abandoned city, crypt disturbed by something making various problems. Okay, so I like that idea. So this is really important. When you're coming up with an adventure hook, atop a mountain, abandoned, or maybe not atop a mountain, maybe like in a mountain. Beneath a mountain, abandoned dwarf city, tome disturbed, causing problems. So what might be an interesting idea for that, right, is maybe, when you were saying there were dwarves earlier, and I kind of like that idea. It's pronounced as Karak. Yeah. Anyway, so Wyvern Soul, you were saying earlier dwarves. What might be cool, right, is maybe the players are escorting dwarven explorers to loot tomb, right? Maybe it's an ancient dwarven king reclaiming lost relic. Something like that would be neat. And then, or maybe ancient dwarven kingdom destroyed by enemy, whatever our enemy ends up being. Or foe. I like foe better. And then, yeah, maybe they're reclaiming a lost relic, right? So that would explain why the party has to do that, and that would give them this awful deal of having to protect a bunch of dwarves, which is awful for them, but it's hilarious for us, I think. That might be interesting. Let's see. So let's start scrolling through some of these monsters. Grabs the relic and turns into... Oh! Ooh! Okay, I'm getting this now. Corrupting relic turns dwarf into enemy. Yeah. I super dig it. Oh, wait a minute. I got a radical idea here. Bionic Shiba, you're saying Byoshi style. The dwarf is actually a black dragon. Byoshi. This is a harken back to an earlier delve where we had a silly dragon. And yeah, maybe there is a dwarven Demi-Lich. I kind of like that idea too. So they have to defeat the dwarven Demi-Lich. Get back that book. Yeah, right? Maybe that is the relic. Relic is an ancient tome on golems. I like this. I love this idea now. All right. And Byoshi wants this book on golems to curse and corrupt things. That could be fun. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's okay. I feel like it's a flesh golem thing. The Forge of Horrors. That might be, actually, that would be pretty sick. I love this. The Forge of Horrors. Okay, that's not a bad name. Especially if we're going with this dwarf theme. Because if we're gonna do this, I really want it to be a kind of funhouse, goofy sort of dungeon feel. Maybe that's the wrong way to go about it, and maybe we won't end up doing that. But I just think it's a cool strat. So let's start looking at some of these monsters. I think we have some awesome ideas. Keep shooting them out in chat. I will add them to this as we go. So I pulled together a whole bunch of monsters. Many of them are from Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. and they're all pretty cool. A lot of them, they all fall within our general level range. Again, our big bosses, we're looking at levels like 17, level 17, and our lowest level things, we're looking at level like 11. So, with a few exceptions. So the Amnezu, for those who are unfamiliar with this beautiful, beautiful hunka, whatever it is, the Amnezu is a devil from the Nine Hells. What? And it does have a purpose in the lore of the Nine Hells, but really anything can be in a tomb, a funhouse style dungeon, which is a tomb. Like, you can just put anything in there and it's fine. So we get this guy. He's got a huge armor class, 21 AC for like a fleshy guy in a robe. Not a ton of hit points, but like not bad. He can fly apparently. Go figure. A lot of resistances and some immunities. He's very much a devil. He's got devil sight. He's got these immunities and resistances are pretty much the same as you get on any devil, or on many devils. What else does he got? He can cast spells, which we'll get down to down here. And he's got these cool whips. He has a Taskmaster whip, which does a bunch of force damage. I like that. It's just he beats you with that. Disruptive touch, which does a ton of necrotic damage. This guy fucking hits like a truck. Oh my god, he's CR 18, so he's very strong. Poisoned Mind that blinds and does less damage, but holy crap. And he makes people forget everything they've seen in the last 5 hours if they're stunned for too long. So that's a powerful ability, but I don't think that'll come into effect super often. At least not the full impact of it. And he's got Instinctive Charm, which just means when a creature tries to attack him, he can try and charm them, which is really powerful. But he can only do that once per character. So that's still very good. And let's look. His abilities are Charm Person and Command. Okay. And Fireball and Dominate Person and Dominate Monster. So, and Feeble Mind. So basically he just casts a couple of very specific spells. What enemies do you fight on the way? And prevent the tome from outside forces. That's a great point, Darkcloud. What if all the enemies you fight were a defense system? That would be interesting too, right? It's almost, we could go that kind of construct-y defense matrix kind of deal. And maybe it's not necessarily defense matrix, but I don't think I pulled any of the and these are just monsters we could roll with, but we don't have to use these guys. They're just ones I've already kind of prepped. So Amnesia is just a really cool devil. Other ones, Arcanoloth is another fiend from the lower planes. He looks like a big fox man. The relic is cursed. He's very familiar. Anyway, so the Arcanoloth casts a whole bunch of different kind of spells. We're not going to worry too much. Unless people really are crying for Arcanoloths. What if all the enemies you fight... Alright, I'm sorry. Can we throw in a Sphinx, but instead of riddles, he tells crappy jokes? I like that. That sounds excellent. I'm going to make a note right now. So how do they get past him? Let's talk about this Sphinx of crappy jokes. No riddles. Instead, bad jokes. And I'm interested, Dark Cloud 101, you were saying, what if all the enemies you fight were a defense system and to protect the tome from outside uses? That's an interesting point. I'm not sure, did you mean, like... Because I think that's kind of the point of the tome, right? Or, I guess the idea, right, is these enemies were put here to defend the tome rather than the tomb. Christ, my brain. Rather than just kind of ended up here. Let me know, because I'm not entirely sure what you meant. But if you were talking like a defense matrix deal, that would be interesting. I'm going to write that down as an option. Whoopsies. Bear. Defense matrix designed to protect tomb. Let's see. It's going to be a construct sphinx. Oh, lol. Okay, interesting. Reactions out of characters causes psychic damage? That's a very meta ability. That's a very meta ability. Maybe. Sometimes meta can be good, especially in a more goofy funhouse kind of setting. On the way, there are dwarves. The dwarves can tell you they're bad and are using the relic for first deeds. They were actually just protecting the tomb. Ah, I see. I like what Dark Cloud. You're going more along than what Sheba was saying earlier. Of they're bad, right? That the players are actually the evil ones here because the dwarves are. I see. Okay, yeah, I super dig that, right? So maybe we go with that direction. And let me just pop and say the dwarves are actually the evil ones, and the tomb was designed to protect the tome. Oh, this is gonna get hard. Tome. The Toomish Tome. This is gonna be really bad. I wonder how many places I spelled Tomb. Tomb. Tomb, Enduring Kingdom, destroyed by foe. So yeah, I think we just revised this a little bit, right? And it's the dwarves. The dwarves are actually the bad guys. And then one of the dwarves is just Byoshi for no apparent reason. Or maybe not. Persistent zone of truth. Maybe. I think it just becomes kind of apparent, right? When the tome is very, very evil, right? And some of the creatures that are protecting it may not be quite so evil. Now, I didn't really prep any, like, good aligned creatures here or anything like that. And I didn't even prepare a lot of neutral creatures. I prepared, like, Abishai and things. A lot of lawful evil creatures. So we'd be very creature light. At least we would. I need to put them in later. Yes, right. It becomes apparent when the dwarf becomes a giant dragon. That would do it. Or maybe actually, rather than a dragon, we can go with any of these other creatures, like the Narzagon would be an interesting one, or fuck a Death Knight, right? There are a lot of options we could go with. Or we can go with the dragon. I mean, it's pretty up in the air. Let's look. So, I'm getting the idea, basically, that we can keep the fiends, demons have some kind of competition with the relic. Oh, interesting. I'm liking this wyvern. That's a really cool idea. So the player characters, and I think the devils are both trying to get the tome. That would be interesting, because they're both going like different sorts of ways, maybe, and maybe they bump into each other. That might not be a bad idea. I think it might be hard to like execute correctly, but that's on a storytelling kind of perspective. The fiends see the PCs and they're like, oh, "What are you doing here? This is mine." Yeah. I don't know if this is the adventure for the Cheese Dragon, the Forgotten One. Maybe the next time, but I think the Cheese Dragon's a little too whimsical for this dungeon. Right now I'm trying to rein it in a little bit to a more workable level, because we're getting a lot of cool ideas, but they're all over the place. So I like this idea. It's beneath the mountain, an abandoned dwarf city. Tomb is disturbed, and we need to go into the tomb to get the tome. Hey, Maddie, how's it going? We're just putting together we're trying to put together a rough dungeon here. So let's see. Far beneath Mount, Wyvern, we're gonna just steal your name, Wyvernstone. Lies the ancient dwarven city, or ruins, of lies some ancient dwarven ruins. Lies a ruined ancient dwarven city. There we go. Boop. Some tasty workshop action. Yeah, you could say that. A little bit of workshopping. We're kind of like crowdsourcing an adventure here. Usually we'd be converting one of the 4 adventures for 5e. But we're trying something different today. We're going to see how it works. Hopefully it goes well. Cross your fingers. So far it's been alright though. We're making a lot of progress actually. So, far beneath Mount Wyvernstone lies an ancient dwarven city. So what are we doing now? We're going from beneath the mountain, ancient dwarven city, tomb disturbed. Within the city lies the tomb of a dwarven king. Now let's see. This is so like monologue. I want it to feel a little more engaging than just let me just lay out all this prologue to you. Home of King. What's the dwarf's name? What's our dwarf king? Dwarf kings. Or dwarf kings of evil McEvil face. Dwarf king. We're gonna hold that for now. Make evil face throne. Or not throne, tomb. Far beneath Mount Wyvernstone Mount should be probably capitalized here. Wyvernstone lies an ancient ruined ancient dwarven city. So I'll just say a ruined dwarven city. A ruined dwarven city, home to ancient king Evil McEvil Face's tomb. Within the tomb is fabled to be a powerful tome of limitless knowledge. Our heroes venture to the tomb alongside a group of dwarven explorers in search for the tome to end the long-standing war between dragonkind and dwarves throughout the land. So I like the shtick here. They're all going here to get the tome. I've created this war between dragons and dwarves because I think that makes a good kind of twist, right? It makes a good motivator. There's this big war going on, dwarves and dragons. It makes sense. It passes the believability test for Fantasy Realm. And then the big deal about this, right, is the twist that the dwarves are actually disguised dragon creatures that want the tome to destroy the dwarves, right? And there's the twist that we're getting at. So I think that could be pretty cool. This makes me abnormally pushy. It's just a dick. She's like, "What are you doing? We need to keep going. We can't dolly. We need to make sure we get to the tomb." Yeah, I dig it. And let's see. So, let's see. What are we doing? We can skip off this area for now. We got some kind of tome, or tomb rather. Yeah, I understand. He's kind of a dick. Just a little bit of a dick. I like the idea of the Forge of Horrors. That's silly. It'd be cool. Maybe we can put some cool forge like traps and things in there. What else would we put in here? So beneath the mountain, let's figure out what kind of enemies are here. I love Dark Cloud 101 was saying earlier, a defense matrix. So right now I've pulled up a whole ton of monsters. What would be cool is we just use these monster stat blocks, but they're like construct versions of them. So that could be a really interesting strat if we go that kind of route. So I'm trying to think, what do constructs typically have in terms of their resistances and immunities and things like that? What are animated armor? Is animated armor in the SRD? Let's see. It is! Perfect. I love when things are in the SRD. They make my life a million times better. So, they have anti-magic susceptibility, generally speaking, and false appearance, except in this case, they're probably not going to have false appearances. And they have immunities to psychic and poison and resistant. Oh, wow. All these conditions. That's very good. So, I'm going to crack back open my notes here. We're going to actually make a new note. And we're going to just type those in and type a note for ourselves. Construct resists. And I think that could be really neat. Poison immunity in most cases. Yeah, exactly. You forgot one. Oh, that might not be a terrible idea. Well, here's the thing: do we want to even put in like the fiends at this point? Because my original thought was I wanted the fiends in there because I had prepped a whole ton of fiends. But if we're just using robo fiends, then it doesn't matter. I still like the idea of like intruder alert, intruder alert. I'm sorry, intruder alert, because we're kind of dwarvy. Cool. So I like this idea of the forge radical. We've still got to put this old man just lying on the ground somewhere. We'll have him be lying in front of the Libra thing with the puppies. And sorry, what else do we need here? Oh, right, traits. So we need those traits. We're going to copy that into our notepad just so we can have all of our construct stuff all together. Cool. So I think we're actually getting a cool idea here. So right now we have the adventure hook. Do we still want to call this dwarf Evil McEvil Face? Huh. You know, I almost like Dwarfy McDwarf Face better. Because, like, I don't know. I feel like his name doesn't really matter, and I don't think I want to put the idea in their head that, like, the tomb is necessarily evil. Oh, Dwarfy McTome Face. Ah, beautiful. Excellent. I like this. Dwarfy McTome Face's tomb. Is it Tome Face or Tomb Face? Which one? Anyway. So we have our adventure hook. I'm going to just copy this other stuff out. Oh, I'm going to save that adventure hook. We're going to open a new tab and paste the other stuff in there. So now we have our adventure hook over here, which should appear on the Twitch stream in a second so y'all can see it. It'll pop up above the thing. And then, so we're going to go look at these guys now. We got our notes and we got our resistances. So let's crack this open again. We're going to look at our notes here. So the gimmick that we're going for with this entire tome, I like King Brass Balls. Entire tome or tomb, god damn, entire tomb is a defense matrix for the tome, which is like let's make it ridiculous, right? Which is a tome of dwarf slaying. Command word. Yeah, which a tome of dwarf slaying, which is why it's so heavily protected. And it's got like power word kill dwarves. So let's just hope none of the player characters are dwarves. And actually, you know what? I almost hope they are, because then it'd be dramatic. Yeah, they definitely want to destroy this tomb. Well, why wouldn't they destroy it? Well, they obviously couldn't. It's clearly immune to dwarves. Yeah, power word kill dwarves. Sorry, that should be, you're right, the colon was in the wrong place. Power word kill dwarves. And yeah, I guess they just weren't able to destroy it, Wyvern Soul. You know, this is how it goes. A lot of these horrible, accursed books, they got a shtick to them where if they're destroyed, they will reform within a certain amount of time somewhere in the multiverse. So, if you can just trap it and keep it hidden, then it will never be able to reform somewhere else. So, I guess that's probably the gimmick we're looking at here, right? That's what they had to do. They had to sneak and protect it. So, cool. We got this defense matrix deal going on. What else is there? So, why is there just an old man in the middle of the dungeon? Are we going to come up with a reason for that, or are we just going to put him in there? So, let's see. We'll call it the Forge of Horrors. Because I like the idea of the Forge. Or what was the other one? You had another one on there that wasn't horrors, the forgotten one, which I kind of like. I remember I liked it, but I don't remember. The Forge of Frightening Circumstances. There we go. Forge of Fear. Oh, wow, that's a good one. Or that might actually be a thing. Forge of Fear. Is that an actual deal? Let me see. No, the Forge of Fury is the one. Forge of Fear is not. We're good. Cool. So, the Forge of Fear. Have him holding a false tome of dwarf slaying. Is there a false tome of dwarf slaying? Wow, the word dwarf slaying looks awful. That does not look like a good word. Anyway, sorry if I'm looking that away a lot. I got the everything set up over there, and then I got Twitch chat right in front of me. So I'm glancing around between Roll20 and Twitch chat a lot. Cool. So we got our gimmick. I like the idea of all of these foes just being kind of constructs. Tome. PCs in morally dubious situations. So this is where we're getting a little weird here, because I think we got a couple of ideas happening in that might not necessarily work. Because remember, we're looking at, I say remember, I never went over. So we're looking at a 3 to 4 hour one-shot adventure. Typically, these adventures have they usually have 3 encounters, basically. 3 big rooms with monsters and traps and things all within them. So I think we want to stick to that because it works for what we're doing here. For our 3 to 4 hour one shot, we're really looking closer to 3 hour range. So I think we're going to have to really pick and choose what we put in here. The shtick we've kind of put together might not work for lots and lots of traps with puppies and things. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm not sure it'll necessarily work. Let's see. So let's start putting things together. Sorry, my brain's having a hard time. I'm trying to keep up with everything. Defense matrix, got to make it evil. I think we're going to have to just ditch out on that for the most part. We'll keep the old man just lying on the ground in pain. Just cause. There go the dwarves. I see. Hellhound or something, if they save those magic items, some kind of sentient construct, evil stuff, lose. Maybe. We're gonna have to think about this a little more, I think. Okay, so do we want to use the Dwarven Demi-Lich, I guess is our first point. I think we do. I really like the Demi-Lich. It's a very frightening enemy. Yeah, no, I feel Shiba. That's what we're at. That's what we're doing right now. We're just throwing shit at the wall. Throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. Spell book. I like the idea of the book. The tome is trapped. So tome is trapped at end. False book. Real one is somewhere else. Oh, you know what? A great idea. I love here's a cool thing. So ending dwarven statue holding tome out forward with the kind of phrase engraved true power lies within one's mind. Right. So here we got like a very weird kind of shtick. Or not shtick. That's my word today, I guess, is shtick. A kind of like puzzle almost, right? And so the tome held forward is trapped. So the one that's actually being held is trapped. The real tome is embedded within, you've forgotten when you picked it up, within the dwarf statue's head. And maybe that's a construct. Construct? That would be interesting. Wouldn't the dwarf statue be dying? Yeah, well, it's a dwarf it's a statue. We're good about that. It's fine. Because a construct. So, the Sphinx of Crappy Jokes. We could keep the Sphinx of Crappy Jokes. We'd have to think about if we want to use it, though. I don't think we're going to do the race between the devils and the characters, because we just won't have time to pull that off, I don't think. Oops. So yeah, I'm liking where we're coming along here. So we got our dwarf statue at the end with the trapped book, and like the minor puzzle engraved in statue's face. I don't think we need a shield guardian necessarily, but we could roll with something like that. Gotta make them evil, dubious situations. I was hearing the Hellhound puppies thing. Maybe we can go with something like that. Cool. So we have our construct features, we have our name, and we have our basic gimmick. Can be the fiends in front of the pun sphinx trying to figure it out. So, I mean, are we gonna stay with that thing that the we could. What is there to figure out about the pun sphinx, though? Are they just trying to punish it, or? Yeah, I dig that. Maybe it's not a ton of fiends. Maybe we just do like the punchline. Oh boy. Maybe. Let's see. So we have our basic gimmick. I don't know if we want to use a demi-lich. So let's go back to here. The dwarves are actually led by a black dragon, Byoshi. Relic is not on flesh golems. We figured this out. We don't need to figure out what that is. Except the answer is just a stupid pun. Maybe the Sphinx needs you to make it laugh with a good pun. Okay. So let's the Sphinx punishing Sphinx. I don't think I need two pun ends in there. Yeah, the punishing Sphinx. So let's see what happens here. Players enter room. See before them. What are they gonna see? Are they gonna see fiends, or are they gonna see something like a mind flayer or something dumb? That's just confused. Oh, fire giants might not be a bad idea, because fire giants would also want. No, but I think we can use fire giants as like a construct thing later. But that makes sense that they hate dwarves. Fire giants are pretty evil, right? Yeah, they're lawful evil. A random friendly flump. We could put a random friendly flump in. And see before them a flump, so they see a flump, a fire giant, and not a mind flayer, because we gotta have a flump. And what's the third thing they probably see, which is dumb? Another dumb creature. Maybe an Arcanoloth. That might be. Oh, an old man. An injured old man. And okay, here we go. This is where we get the old man tie-in. Wyvern, great call there. Perfect. And the fire giant is battling. Maybe not battling. What's going on? What is this stupid room? Maybe the fire giant. What's the fire giant doing? What if the flump's gonna do? A battle of wits? You know, the problem with the battle of wits is it's really hard to like do on the abstract, because it ends up just being like, well, it ends up either being my intellect being Jeremy, which does not appropriately represent the Sphinx, versus all of the combined intellect of the character, of like the actual players. Or yeah, I like that idea. So the fire giant's just angrily arguing with the Sphinx, and the flump is just kind of hanging around. If you're nice to the flump, they'll tell you that you need to. What do you need to do? You need to tell the Sphinx a dumb pun. You need to answer the Sphinx's joke with a pun. That's weird. We need to think about that a little more, I think. The old man is dying. And we'll come back to this in a minute, because I having a very admiring himself in a mirror that makes himself more appealing. The answer is right there in your face. I'm not sure I get the pun. That's a very good point, Bionic Shiva. The old man should be suspiciously in the last room. Anyway, let's see. Let's try and think of what our 3 rooms are. Because we have our Sphinx. That's one of the rooms. Sphinx of crappy jokes. jokes do psychic damage? I don't know. We'll figure that out. So we got our Sphinx, we got that room. We have the ending room, which it looks like it's the dwarven statue, it's the crypt, the tomb. I like that. I also like the idea of the Sphinx being the very first room, like being like the gatekeeper, right? So maybe our second room. Well, what do we want the second room to be? So if they get through the Sphinx, they get through the riddle, they're in the tomb now officially. Yeah, tomb. Oh my god, the tomb tome thing is really getting me wigged. Did you hear about the invisible shape-shifting druid? No, I didn't. I didn't hear about the invisible shape. He was barely there. Okay. I feel like those memes are gonna be really hard. Sphinx guards, then statue? What do you mean the guards? Oh, I see, you mean the constructs once you're actually in the tomb. Yeah, so what do we want that tomb to be? I guess the question, right? Do we want it to just be like big beefy things that attack them and it's just a room with like a lot of traps? I like the idea of like the forge would be cool. Massive forge room. We got like, we'll put quotes here, fire giants. So maybe we don't have the fire giant be in this other room. Maybe it's just the flump and an injured old man. Or maybe we replace the fire giant with something else. Fire giant constructs, because those work really well for the forge. A bunch of endless constructs. It's a lot of constructs. Endless. I like the idea of it being a huge area, and maybe like there's like a purple worm construct. I love that, because purple worms can be freaking scary. We got an old man. Okay, we'll move the old man to the front of the statue. So it was just a flump and a sphinx hanging out in this room. A flump and a sphinx chilling in front. All good, guys. Okay, sure. That is a bad joke for certain, the Forgotten One, but I'm not sure it's a pun. Flump having an intellectual conversation with the Sphinx about riddles. So I think it's not intellectual. I think it's like a philosophical conversation with the Sphinx about riddles and their merit in dungeon design. It's a very meta conversation here between the Sphinx and the Flump. And we get our very avant-garde Sphinx. Oh, wait, yeah. Oh, shit. Is there like a word that's kind of like... Oh, wait. So, I wonder. So maybe this we'll make this, instead of the punishing Sphinx, we'll call this the avant-garde, and it's a Sphinx. Right, because it's kind of, we got a double pun going on in there. I like this. It's avant-garde in that it's like weird and different. The Trions are looking for a new tool for their trade. I don't know. That the problem, Frog, is it's... I don't want to make super ultra specific, like, riddle question deals and have that be their only strat, right? Because that just like feels bad when it's just like, all right, I'm not getting this thing that you're trying to get across. Anyway, we'll jump to that. I think we come back to this, right? We come back to our Sphinx room, our avant-garde in a moment. So the forge, yeah. So we're on the forge, where massive room, fire giants. Do we like fire giants? Do we want to use something else? Obviously, these are all constructs, right? Part of the defense matrix. Wyvernslow was saying a lot of low-level creatures, or an endless number of smaller constructs. That might be cool. Trying to think, what would we use for those? Because the one issue I have with lots of small things is they end up getting very... they end up getting really tedious to actually control in the combat. Now, I love the idea of... what was I saying? I like the idea of minions from 4th edition and using those guys. So... Well, I wasn't actually thinking actual fire giants, Chiba. I was actually going to just have fire giants as the, like, the construct, the template for the constructs. Because I think they have pretty good fiery abilities, right? Great, oh, no, they just have a great sword and a rock. God damn it. What about the Afridi? Because Afridi are cool. Yeah, they do extra fire damage, and they have a hurl flame. So, I kind of like the idea of maybe we use Afridi as our template here for the constructs, because they've got some cool abilities that are appropriate what we're looking for. So obviously we're not going to call them Afridis. Afridi constructs, what do they look like? Appear to be giant, fiery robot dwarves. That could be fun. I don't think we're gonna do as Karak. We got the purple worm. I like the purple worm construct. I think that could be a really interesting monster to use in a huge chamber, which we don't do a lot in this. Probably because it won't look good on stream. Shit. Okay, maybe we don't do that. So maybe this is where we're gonna put our scales, right? How do we do that? Oh, you know, I like this idea, right? So we have scale mechanism is kind of the way out, right? Okay, so large metal scales on the far side of the chamber. Gear mechanisms and levers will open door door to next chamber as soon as scales tip in either direction. So I like this idea. They got to tip the scales in one way or another. And now we can talk about what's actually on the scales. One side is puppies. Actually robot hellhounds. And other side is magic items. So I think it needs to be set up in such a way that whatever side that they don't tip is going to, like, be destroyed, I guess is a thought. But in actuality, it just releases the Robo Hellhounds or something like that if they go for the magic items. That might be interesting. If we want to go in that direction. Now, but the Robo Hell, now it's not a cute thing anymore. Like, they looked cute before they tried to destroy them. Yeah, anyway. cage of puppies. Other side, yeah, force cage of magic items. Whichever side is not weighted would be destroyed by a massive press, so fiery press above. So I like this idea, right? They bring one up and one down, and whichever one is not, or not fiery press, fiery. Yeah, but Christ. If they grab the items, it always need to be actual puppies. Well, no, that was the point. Is if they grab the items, the puppies get all fucked up, and then the Robo Hellhounds attack or something. God, the metal scales. I'm getting really like hung up on these. I'm just not super. I'm having a hard time moving forward with them, making them like make sense. I guess in my brain, in my head canon of what's going on here. Whatever, we're gonna just roll with it. Oh, you know, super easy. It's just a cage of puppies. They're not robot hellhounds. They're just a cage of puppies. Other side equals oh, right. Oh, here we go. Not tomes, but tablets with magical tablets with magic items emblazoned. Whichever side is not weighted is destroyed by a massive fiery press above. If, and then here we go. There we go. Here we're getting somewhere again. We're making progress. Here we go. Oops. If puppies destroyed, door opens and robotic hellhounds rush out, or some other foe, as well as magic items. If puppies not destroyed, so if they destroy the magic items, what happens? Real puppies are freed and are cute. There we go. Yeah, Farker, we don't got the point bot rolling for this show, because this is just a kind of brainstorming thing. It's nothing super fancy. Toss up the scale with the giant forge. Yeah. Yeah, all right. That's what I was getting at, right? Whichever side is weighted lands in lava pit and melts. So I like this idea. And maybe. Okay, I love that. Here's the thing, right? Okay, I figured it out for the scales here. The scales are like the stairs that will go up to the next level, and there's some sort of anti-magical thing keeping flying. So I'm feeling this now. I'm getting it a little more. The scales are the stairs leading up to next level. Need to pick a side. To wait to make the scales go down. Cool. I like this idea. I'm feeling this a little bit better now. So I can actually get rid of that part. And then anti-magic prevents flight in this area. Cool. Bullshit magic says you can't fly here. It's a no-fly zone. Oh yeah, right. Okay, so both lead to different sides and different areas. I'd take that. Oh, and maybe they both lead to like a mirror of the same chamber. With the dwarf statue. That might be interesting. That could be cool. So we got the puppies. Waited. The puppies are destroyed. We don't need the robotic hellhounds. But I think we do need something. What's our lava pit melts? So I'm good up to here. I'm trying to figure out now the reward for if they murder the puppies versus destroy the magic items. She's upstairs, but we see different sides. A few pressure traps deal minor damage. A few pressure traps. Yeah, right. Maybe one side is super trapped and the other one's not. I don't know. The puppies thing is just where I'm a little lost. We'll come back to this, I think. The report is they just killed a bunch of puppies. Well, yeah, of course, if they murder the puppies, what happens? We'll have to come back to this. We'll come back here. I wish I could highlight in Notepad. I'm sure I can. I'm just bad. Dragon slaying dagger. That would be very good. Oh, right! Because our whole shtick, right? We're going after the dragons versus dwarves kind of conflict. Grants immunity to power word spells. That's, I think, too... we're projecting a little too much, I think, with that part. Dragon stuff in there. Yeah, they would have anti-dragon stuff in there. So that might be cool. So, like, dragon scale armor, arrows of dragon slaying, stuff like that. What was that? Stuff like that. Of course, well, within the anti-magic, they don't have any actual effect. And then, if puppies not destroyed, real puppies are freed, and they're cute. I like this idea. We got cute puppies. Whatever, we'll just roll with that. It'll be a little funky, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So we got our forge. If 3D constructs, fire robot dwarves. I kind of liked, I know Wyvern, you mentioned in chat the idea of having lots of like minions. I think maybe we can take one of these weaker Abishai. That's I think black is the weakest one we've got in here. Maybe the green? Did I put the green in here? Green. Green is 15. Oh, that's really strong. So maybe we put some of these things in as just kind of generic monsters. I don't know, we'll see. Probably not. I think the Abishai are very specific, so we'll not really roll them. So we got our forge, we have the avant-garde, which we need to come back to, and we have our ending, which I think there's a battle we need to have at the end, and I think that is where we can use our demi-lich, because demi-liches are pretty cool. So let's start putting together the rooms a little bit, because at this point I don't want to get too hung up on semantics while we're going through here. Maybe we'll find something cool. So I think the very first thing I want to do is I want to go down to the very front and let's start pulling up some tiles. So tile, oh, all right. So I'm on the wrong layer here. Just gonna turn my candle off. Because I would know that I would absolutely set the place on fire if I waited too long. So let's get to our map layer, map and background, and let's start pulling some tiles together. Tiles and tiles. Ah, stop. So these tiles won't necessarily look perfect next to each other. They are all just kind of tossed together. And we can start pulling together a room that like almost looks like a room. I'm just going to toss them in any real order. I'm just going with my generic normal tiles right now. Nothing really fancy. What else would we have here? We don't need a trap door, I don't think, in the Sphinx room. We don't need fire coming from the walls or walls of gore. What are these tiles of souls? Or I need these thrones. But maybe we need these stairs. So. Right. So we got 3 sets of stairs going up. And some runic kind of fancy tiles. And then we probably want a door to lead into the next room. So a door, large, closed, iron. Perfect. Ah! Roll 20. You're being bad today. You're being naughty. Someone tell Roll 20 it's being bad. Okay. And, of course, I made a mistake. And my doors are going to look a little weird because of the way I set things up today. That's okay, though. Maybe I'll fix those in between. So, we've got our entrance here with our big set of double doors. Roll 20, you're being a bad... I'm being a bad, too, though. I can't blame Roll 20 entirely. Maybe we just have it be a smaller set of double doors that actually looks good. What do people think? It's our entrance into the tomb. I'm okay with this. Flip horizontal. Does Roll20 have that option to just flip horizontal? I wasn't actually quite familiar. So, if it does, hot damn, we're good. Copy. Paste. Oh, actually, you know what I think I can do? I think I can do this. No, that didn't work. Nope, the flip horizontal. Oh, wait, it did work. Perfect. There we go. Good job, D Forgotten One. You fixed my dumb. And actually, if we flip them both vertical. Oh, that's not what I want, but whatever. We're just going to put it like that. That looks good. Cool. So we have our way in. We have our steps leading up where our Sphinx will be up here. We have a little bit of end down here. And I think we've got a pretty good generic, you know, this is our first chamber. Let me rotate everything around so we're at least... Oh, God. Oh, no. What? Okay. Can't rotate like that. Sure. Whatever. We'll make this work. Cobbling everything together, guys. It's alright. Everything's good. Everything's hunky-dory. And boom. So, we have our tiles. And let me actually add some more just kind of normal tiles over here. And over here. Nope. Come on. Cool. Now, we're going to have to edit these guys, I think. But that'll be fine. Ooh, that doesn't look good. I wonder if that's an issue with the other tile. Oh, yeah, it is. It's an issue with those tiles. Well, that's fine. We're going to just roll with it the way it is. Alright. Can I voice the Dwarven Demi-Lich? I'm sorry, D Forgotten One. I don't think so. It's just me running this show when we actually play it. So, let's jump in and quickly throw in some basic dynamic lighting. For those who are not super familiar with dynamic lighting, basically, it's just super easy. It works great. It's really easy to put in. I'm just holding shift to make these lines perfectly square. And I'm just going through. Oh, I didn't want to do this last part, so I'm just going to hit undo, Control Z. And now I'm just going to hold shift and do this diagonal, and it's perfect. Ta-da! So we've just made a pretty much perfect... Oh, whoops. And then I ruin it. A pretty much perfect little dungeon here. A little squared area that leads up. Yeah, I'm sorry, D-Frog. It's just not the kind of thing that I think I can do right now. There might be a point in the future, but for now I'm having trouble simply getting everything together here. So now I'm gonna take thin color and that, holding shift again, I make the line directly across, and actually maybe I should make that regular size so I can actually see it. Holding alt to kind of slowly push, and there we go. It leads out to there. So I'm going to go back to the polygon line, and I realized just now I need to make that a straight line there, and a straight line there, but now we're good. Everything is set now. So what this will do is I made this a different color so that I know when I need to move it, because the doors are there. And the players might need, will want to go through the doors at some point. So we put up our dynamic lighting. We're going to have our Sphinx up here. They're going to have to approach him up to there and do their dumb Sphinx joke. Do we want anything else for the Sphinxes? I feel like maybe some statues. Do I have statues? Yeah, we have some statues. Ooh. Ooh. Looks like the statues only really cooperate if they're oh, I'm on objects and tokens. Why am I on objects and tokens? I want to be on the map layer. So we throw some statues on there to make it look good. But besides that, it's just generic tiles that we've just tossed together. And have we named... Well, I didn't say no to Azkarak. We can go with Azkarak. I think that's okay. Or maybe we go back with the other one. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We got Azkarak. We've got what was his name? Dwarfy McTomeface, which I like. Cool. So as you can see, actually putting the map together now that we have these tokens is super easy. So we have our first room. Real simple. Let's add some more tiles behind it, as this is... Oh, I'm still on the objects and tokens layer, like a bad. You see how the tokens resized when on the objects and tokens layer, but they work great on the map layer. And that's just because of how Roll20 does stuff. So let's continue putting these tiles up. Throw out... I'm just picking random-ish ones from this list here. I mean, they're pretty much random, to be honest. Sometimes there's a couple that are back-to-back, but I don't think it's that big a deal. And so we have it kind of... Oopsies. There we go. The tiles move over, and now we can have our next room right here. So, his eyes are actually brass balls. Might not be a bad idea. And this will need to open up into the forge. So let's start throwing down tiles for the forge. And once again, we're just throwing a big old open space. Roll20 is being uncooperative at times. Roll20 is a great piece of software, but it's also awful. Just depends. Cool. So again, I'm just moving these tiles and tossing them on. And once they're all kind of on there, we can start thinking about what other cool stuff goes in a forge. For example, we actually have forge tiles, which could be cool. Wow, this is actually looking pretty good for like a cobbled together thing. Oh. And once again, I have not yet heard back from Dungeons and Dragons about these tiles. If I do, I will let you know, world. And if I'm allowed to share them, I certainly shall. But that's kind of a toss-up. So we got a forge, so we're going to have walls that shoot fire. Let's put them over here. And both the wall tiles. Oh, why am my wall tiles are all screwed up. There we go. And mine are upside down because I'm bad. So we have these big walls of fire. That actually looks pretty solid right there. And then we want forge tiles, which I think are labeled as furnace. So we got these big old furnaces hanging out by the walls. And I think we're going to want a whole bunch of these. Because the idea is it is the forge. And one of the things I would have done if I had had more time to prep these, I ended up prepping all these tiles yesterday. But if I had had more time, what I would have done is I would have gone through and taken all this black on the forge and made that transparent. Because then everything would have looked a little nicer. So you have our forge room. And in here is where they're going to come across the forge monsters. So that's where we can have our constructs. And I guess this big wall of fire. Which I don't have something to really use as our teetering area. Ooh, here's a little bit of rubble. Let's just toss that somewhere. Yeah, just to mix things up a little. And maybe some like big rubble. Big rubble. Oh, there we go. Perfect. That's gonna be great. What did they have in there in the forge? What's our big thing about that? We got our 3D constructs. Draw one. It'd be great. All right. I'm going to draw the big dumb fucking scale because you're going to make me do it. Cage of puppies. So I don't think I'm going to draw a cage of puppies. But, you know, I am going to draw probably some of the stuff because we're going to need it. Just seeing if we have any cool tiles here that could be helpful. Doesn't look like it. Looks like all of my tiles are not going to be helpful. Yep, not helpful. So, let's start by going into, what do I want to do? Go up to here, which is, I'm going to my arts library, my assets, and I'm going to search Libra. Yep, this is my Libra, guys. Okay, maybe scale. Okay. Roll 20, you're not very good at this. Oh, here we go. Beautiful. And here's another one that's actually kind of okay. Cool. Cool. I like this one. And this is just a free asset from Roll20. And I'm just going to toss that on there. King of that here hill. What the hell are you? You're just a bro-ass. Anyway. Art library. So now we're going to go back to my stuff because all this stuff sucks. Oh, I want to undo that. And we're going to grab some more tiles because it looks like we need them because I'm bad. And, oh, I accidentally made raised tiles. Which actually I think we want to do, right? We want raised tiles for this. Oh, that's not good. Right, we want to do that. Right click, advanced, flip vertical. There we go. We got one, and we've got our second set there. So that'll be the two raised areas. Wow, this actually like kind of looks okay. What's going on? Layer. So I want to go to back to move the scale in front. It needs a dwarf called King of that there hill who deals in magic and accessories. Lava floors. Yes, let's get some lava floors going. We're gonna go to draw shape, and I'm just gonna make this really shitty. Just it's lava, guys. See that red stuff? Guess what it is? Wow. Wow. There we go. Got our lava. Oh, and once again, our scale needs to be moved to the front. Holding Alt to move it, position it a little better. What am I using these firewalls for? Maybe the firewall instead of the lava. That might be better. Yeah, that kind of sounds better to me, I think. Because lava floors just don't look very good. What do you guys think? I think the fire shooting out of the walls might be more interesting. Firewall. Yeah, alright, I'll just say the firewalls are the lava. And it just looks better with firewalls. And that is the #1 secret to dungeon mastering, folks. Just bullshit it. And it's all cool because people work with you. So we got that. Let's see, firewall for the stairs will be revealed. Well, I think the idea is right. The arm of the scale is the stairs to go up to these raised levels. And one of the things I like to, or I want to do a little more often here, is I want to, in blue, I'll do, a fairly regular line, not like a super thick line, is I want to show the area where the anti-magic is in effect. Because the idea is we're going to have anti-magic here. So I don't want players to be like, where's the anti-magic, and not really know. I want it to be very clear. Cool, so we have this part, and then that leads up to the next level, which let's take some more tiles, and we can show where they head out. And okay. We plop everything down. So we haven't put in any dynamic lighting for that next part, but that's fine. And this is probably going to be a terrible, terrible decision what I'm doing right here. Oh my goodness, I just totally screwed up. There we go. And I guess this will be the next chamber, right? It'll be over here. So let's take a dais and a second dais, raise little areas there, and now let's try and make some duplicate rooms. Why am I doing duplicate rooms? Why am I doing this? Like, what do I gain from doing what I'm doing? And the answer is, I don't know. Maybe I don't make duplicate rooms. Maybe I just do the one fucking room. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's a much better idea than what I was doing, Sheepa. I'm gonna do what you said. Because I can go a little dumb sometimes. Alright, so that should be good. We got our area up. Doesn't look the same. Meaning I screwed something up somewhere. 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, that's because I added a new tile on the other side like a dummy. Okay. Oh, right, and we have this one back here. This is where the demi-lich will be. All right, so, and then we've got, so we got the whole room set up, and we're going to get our dwarf statue. Let me go over to statue. Where's my statue? Oh, we'll get some, like, damaged, like, sarcophagus deal right there. I dig that. And then, do you want to use this profane altar? That doesn't feel right. For the tome, at least. Yeah. Let's use a regular old statue image. Where do I have statues? They're probably under S for statue. Take some rubble, because rubble's fun. And probably not the frog statue. You'll just do the regular old statue. Bop. And it's right above this thing. Ugh. I'm holding Alt as I resize this so that I can like hold it together a little better. So, whoop. And actually, I'm not going to hold Alt. I'm just going to regular old resize it like a normal person. Okay. And let's just toss a couple more tiles on there because I think it'll look good. And these are little raised platforms. And at the very top, do I have a brazier somewhere? Campfire. How do I not have brazier? Why did I not get brazier? Bad me. Well, that's fine. We'll worry about that another time. Cool. So we have our whole kind of set up here, and actually, you know, it looks not bad. Not too terrible for what it is. Let's start hacking stuff together. Dynamic lighting. Polygon, I'm going to go again with yellow. I use yellow as the outlines because I want it to be something that I can very clearly tell against what will likely be a black backdrop. And again, I'm just holding shift to get these good diagonals. And these perfect edges. So really, I'm just using shift for pretty much everything. I will say that is a very small passage there. So I might have to do something about that. I'm going around the whole outside first, just because that will make everything nice and neat and functional. Boom. And so we have our whole outside dynamic lighting. I can now go back through and make this dynamic lighting. 3, 4, 5. So right now I would have it go there and then to there. What if I did that? Yeah, that'll look way better. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to toss in a few more things. So we go back to map and I go back to these tiles. Just toss in a few more normal tiles. Oopsies, don't want to draw any lines. And it's going to look weird. It's going to look like these are all full from our perspective, but actually it won't look full at all from their perspective. It'll look great. So I go to dynamic lighting, and yeah, it's going to be... Whoa. Why are you not correct? You're correct. Why aren't you? I started that too far back. That sucks. Actually, it doesn't suck that bad, because I can do this. I'm just going to draw more lines. I'm just going to draw over my old line, so that back line won't even be shown. Cool. So, we've got our base kind of set up. Let's see what other dynamic lighting we might need. Is there any? Let's see. I could put some dynamic lighting over here. And actually, I kind of want this to be partially collapsed. So they'll only see part of the rubble. I think that'd just be fun. Oh, our statues are being cut off. Maybe I'll just shift them around a little. I don't think I need these guys to block lighting really at all. Or maybe just like a little. And I'm just freeballing this, just looking around, seeing roughly how far I need to go. You can be very rough with dynamic lighting and get some really great effects still. And I think that's it. I don't think we really need anything else to... Oh, you know what? Maybe this rubble, we make a line, like a little tiny line like that on the middle of it. I'm going to use Alt to just kind of shift it around a little. And that will give this pile of rubble a little bit of light blocking, which could be cool. So yeah, that's basically it. I guess I don't need to block any lighting off of there, because they're going to just go up and then over. So what do we need to do? We're still in the dynamic lighting layer. So what we need to do is we need to add in some lighting tokens. So I'm going to search for torch. And torch didn't find me nothing. So what I need to do is I need to actually search torch on the correct thing. I was under characters before, and that's dumb. And then I just click on this thing. We'll say we'll use that. Double click on it, and we'll say all players see light, and we're going to give it a 40, 20 light thing. Now we haven't set up, I haven't turned dynamic lighting on here yet, so flip that around. We're going to stick it right there, and that will represent our fire coming off. And then down here, we're going to do the same exact thing, except flip it around, stick it on. And because we're on the dynamic lighting layer, the firewalls will give light. Because we're on the dynamic lighting layer, those won't actually show up anywhere else, which is awesome. Kind of exactly what we want. I don't think we need any lighting up in the front, so all we really need to do is go back to our map layer. Because I think that's all the lighting we need are those two tiles. Go to maps, and go back over to here. And let's drag these guys so they're just a little bit not being... Oh, man. We may not be able to save the statues, guys. Oh, you know what? Let's just move them up. Boom. Perfect. And then we can kind of... Yeah, there we go. They're facing in. Perfect. Go to dynamic lighting. Yep, they're going to be fine. What about the forges? Oh, shit. Dark Cloud. Good call. We need forge light. Because they're fiery forges. So once again, I'm just going to drag a little token off. The token I use does not really matter. Because, and I'm going to give that the exact same lighting, and I'll click all players see lighting. So the torches we use, again, because we're on the dynamic lighting layer, these guys won't even show up. So we're just going to, or their light will, but the torch themselves will not. So once again, I'm just clicking them on, spinning them around. Boah. No, oh, need to hold Alt to make sure they go where I want them to. And I'm holding them like half on a thing. Like this, they're kind of ending up partially in a square. All right, now we got all our dynamic lighting, I think. Plug walk. Hey, Luminary, and welcome. Use atmospheric lighting. Tiny torches for holes in the ceiling. Yeah, that might not be a terrible idea. I like that actually for back here. That just sounds fun. So let's take a very, very simple kind of icon. We're going to shrink it way down. I don't think that really matters in particular. And we're only going to give this guy 5 feet of lighting, and the dim light immediately starts. This is just a tiny little piece. We're going to pop it on. We're going to just click and drag them. And we're going to give these guys a little bit of distance between each other. And then so actually, yeah, let's, and we're going to continue to stagger these because I think these are cool. And hopefully this will actually look really cool once we're actually in the dungeon. So I'm just going to hold Alt and then just shift these around a little to make them seem a little less exact, because right now they're very exact. And actually maybe that one lives there, right by the wall. Alright, so those might look terrible, but they might look wicked cool too. So we're going to turn on dynamic lighting. So we go over here to our special delve, and I click on dynamic lighting, and I enforce line of sight, and only up, and I do everything but global illumination. Hit OK. And now I'm going to go back to objects and tokens, and we can see where lighting is not happening over here. Why are you not happening, lighting? Go back to the lighting layer. Oops. Lighting layer. Click on that. Oh, I didn't click all players see light. That's bad. I have to go through all of those and click it again. Ugh. Ugh. Mistake. Oh, I feel so sad. I click all the buttons. And... Alright. So now I go to objects and tokens. And I still don't think I see the light over there, but it might just be very, very light. Bleh. Bleh, indeed. So let me just take a dude. We're going to make this guy a dude. We're going to say, you can see, dude. So, and I think it's Control and L. Oh, he can't see anything. He's blind. He can't see anything. Oh, it's because he's stuck outside. Okay, can you see in here? Oh, that looks cool. Oh, I like this. Excellent idea, the Forgotten One. This looks great. As this poor blind man wanders through the darkness. Oh, there's the torch. There's the forge. And you can see one of the problems right now. Maybe you can't, but I'm going to zoom way in. This is one of the issues I have with leaving the darkness on the token pieces. I can see where actual black versus the token black, they're not correct. Well, the Forgotten One, I will keep that in mind because that looks pretty radical. I'm going to move you back around, Explorer token, as you go traveling into the tomb. But I'm sure they're all going to have dark vision, so that's going to ruin everything anyway. But anyway, so this will be the random old man. We're going to keep him on there. And he's just lying on the ground here. He's got that face. He's just lying on the ground. We're going to keep him on the map because we need to have him on the map. So let's look at our monsters. What am I? Oh, I'm searching for torch. But what I want is Demi-Lich, because we got our Demi-Lich, and our Demi-Lich is hanging out back here, and he's like, yeah. And what was his name? We were between a couple names. Dwarfy McTomeface. Maybe Dwarfy McTomeface is a dwarf, and this is just a lich. Brass Balls the Lich. Okay, we'll call him Brass Balls. I don't think anyone's gonna know his name is Brass Balls, but instead of rubies in his eyes, he has big brass balls. Oh, and this explains why that guy's at 0 hit points, because the Lich got him. Oh shit, and he's just still unconscious. This is genius. Now, how this guy got in here without killing the puppies, God knows. Only God could knows. Precisely. So Brass Balls is the one interred, where Dwarfy McTomeface was the one who hid it all away. So what else do we need? Is the Demi-Lich alone a good threat? I don't think it is necessarily. So we're on, look at this last thing. I'm gonna put some notes on here for me. My notepad, come back. So what I like to do is I like to go to the GM layer, and I like to go to text, make my text nice and white, and oh, that's not my text. Text, white text, paste. Boop. Oh god, damn it. So I've got my text up here, and it's on the GM layer, so no one else can really see it, or actually can at all see it really. Make it a bit bigger, and that way when I go to this and make the background black to make everything work really well with dynamic lighting, there we go. Maybe he teleported. Yeah, exactly. He just got stuck in here. Poor guy. He used a non-magical grappling hook. I love that idea, the Forgotten One. He just used a fucking grappling hook. He's just a regular old goddamn explorer. Luminarian, the point bot actually does not roll on behind the screen. Basically, if Pete and I are both doing a show, we have the point bot rolling. But if it's just Pete or just myself, we don't have him roll. Yeah, he's in Dice Hell right now. So we got brass balls. We got our maimed adventurer with his non-magical grappling hook. What other foes do we want in here besides brass balls? What other monsters does brass balls have at his disposal? Anyone have any cool ideas? Because we have our constructs over there in this room, the defense matrix. We're going to have our Sphinx and friends up in the front. But who are we going to have here with brass balls? You know what? We could have just... Are monodrones in the SRD? I doubt they are. We could have little brass balls in monodrones. That'd be pretty fucking silly. But I don't think that's what we're going to want. Undead dwarf warriors. Yeah, that's not a terrible idea. How powerful? Oh, man, my nose is all snuffly. Franny are CR 11. So yeah, I'd have to write something. I'd have to write a note to myself because I'm not gonna take the time and souls that were slain and collected by the so dwarf spirit wars. I'm gonna write a note then. Dwarf spirit warriors. So what I'm not gonna really do right now is just take the time to manually type everything into Roll20. I'll put in those guys later. Summoned from tome by brass balls to defend. So I love this idea. Dwarf spirit fighters. Maybe we're gonna have to do something a little more powerful than like the Berserker template, I think. But I'm not sure. Because the Demi-Lich is a CR 17 monster, so it should be pretty threatening. But last time they were at this level, they fought 2 Garistros, which are CR 17, and a Marlith, and still won. It was close. And they cheesed that shit a little bit. But, you know, they might... I don't know. They're hard to kill, these groups. This group in particular. So... maybe... I think the Afridi would be too powerful if I did them. Oh, maybe not. I don't think they'd make good. I think the Afridi are better in this other one. But yeah, I love the idea of the souls collected and slain by the tome. That's fucking dope. So yeah, I don't think I have anything in here that's really good for them as a template. So I'll have to put them in later. What I'll probably do is I'll take the champion archetype, which is it's a fighter archetype, but it's also, they have a pre-gen champion fighter in Volo's Guide to Monsters, and I'll probably type that guy in. Fear Forged Spirits. Ooh, that's a great name. Fear Forged Spirits. Yeah, whites are a really good other template to roll with. I might kind of smash the white and the champion archetype together, or maybe I'll smash the white and the berserker together and then roll from there. There might be some Durgar. The problem with Durgar is they're very magical and have magical abilities, so maybe not. Let's look at our fort. We got our puppies with our traps, and let's start putting together our Ifriti. I drag him on the map, and he shows up someday. And I'm on the GM layer, so we're going to move him to the token layer. Let's double click on him. That's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do is I wanted to add a new folder called Special Delve. Boop. And I want to take that Ifriti and drag him up here. So let's go over. We had this other page of things that constructs get. And I'm just going to start plopping them in. So, damage immunities. Oops, don't mean to delete those, meant to copy them. And I'm going to damage immunities. And it goes from fire to... Obviously, they keep fire because they're they're forge constructs, right? And condition immunities. Oh boy, we're getting a lot. I'm not going to minimize those capitals. So, what are we going to rename this guy? Forgeborn dwarf? So, Forgeborn construct, I think is what we'll call it. Because that's just a cool name. And I think what we'll do, what does the spell casting free normally get? Enlarge, reduce, and tongues. Yeah, probably not. So I think we don't need most of spell casting. Do we want it to conjure elemental or any of these? I like Wall of Fire. So maybe we'll just give it Wall of Fire. Give them Wall of Fire. And I think we leave Conjure Elemental out of it. So I think we just give them Wall of Fire. And this Elemental Demise is not really quite appropriate, so maybe Explosion. Give them Animate Dead. Well, these are constructs. How could they animate dead? Explodes. A flash of fire. Dealing forward. Flash of fire. I'm just gonna make this note for myself. Dex. Dex DC or Dex save. DC 15, and then like 4d10 fire, and then half on success. So just some little notes for myself. They build an undead really fast. Oh shit, that might be cool. Well, here's the thing. I think what I want to do is I want to have elementals that they conjure anyway. Oh, not elementals, constructs. I don't want to even like make that an ability. I just want to give it to them. It's something that like happens almost as part of the room. So I'm gonna just start taking these out because I don't need these spells. Bop bop. Tongues or gaseous form a major image. Bop bop bop. But we keep the Wall of Fire. So one of the things I really like doing is having, cool. So we keep our Wall of Fire and we keep these abilities. I'm not going to bother to reword the multi-attack, but the scimitar is obviously going to be a hammer. I'm going to keep the damage the exact same, except it's bludgeoning. Actually, fuck that. I don't need the text. So, exact same, it's just bludgeoning. And hurl flame. Let's call it flame cannon. Cool. Nice and simple. And yeah, so at that point, we're pretty much good. Let me see what happens if I give this guy a red tint. I'm guessing he's going to look terrible. Yeah, he does. He looks awful. The tint doesn't really work super well. Oh, wait, that's a white tint. I want a clear thing, and I don't need to give him a red dot. But I will keep him there, and there, and there, and there. So that hopefully will work out pretty okay. Let's see what else. I feel like I need to put a door here, otherwise they're going to turn the corner and just start throwing fireballs at these guys. Maybe I do that. Maybe I go back to my map layer. And I copy the door. And I just rotate the door. Oh god, and it's all terrible because I screwed it up. We plop a door down. Alright, now I go back to dynamic lighting, of course. And I go back to my teal, make this regular. Make a big line. And then I rotate the big line. Or not rotate, but shift it so that it's behind the door. So they'll see the door. Oh, that's not a terrible idea. We could give them spiritual weapon. That's an awesome spell. Is that in the SRD? I just play so little. Oh, it is. Oh, yes. All right, so we're going to go back to our Forgeborn constructs because that's an excellent idea. Giving them spiritual weapon is a sick idea, and that'll just the in lot. Oh, so we'll give them at will spiritual weapon. Oh God. Well, but they can only use one a turn. So it really doesn't matter. Wall of Fire and spiritual weapon. Ingram, if you want to do the points command, you can do that in Dice Hell in our Discord server. Dice Hell being one of the channels. We don't actually run the spectator for these kind of streams where it's just me or just Pete. But yeah, you can check it out there. Oh, I wasn't even thinking made a Fiery Forgotten one. I loved your idea of it being like an animated object, right? It animates one of the weapons around the forge. Would be pretty radical. So yeah, I love these. These are cool. Let's figure out what tiny little constructs are going to get. So the constructs I want to be some kind of like easy foe that we can, something that's not too strong. But that can be useful as a an enemy. So let me, or I'm not really being helpful with that, huh? So let me look at Berserker. That's something I mentioned earlier. And Berserker just has a reckless great axe attack. It just swings once recklessly. Cool. I think these would work perfectly for our little mindless murder robots. Oh my God, rust monsters! Bionic Sheba, you monster! Oh boy. This would be a very interesting place for them to be. The problem is, why are our constructs not all dead? Oh, you know, maybe that's the logic, huh? Maybe these constructs are actually so much more powerful than they appear, but they are already rusted to shit. We're gonna have to see about this. Anyway, so let's go back here. I'm gonna have my monsters. If I drag that on, does anything happen? Oh, perfect. So I have my Berserker here. And if I go back here, hopefully he showed up somewhere. He didn't, so we're gonna have to figure that out. Shift, double click, opens the character sheet. But I don't know where the character sheet is. I don't know where it put it. Didn't put it in Friends of Beasts. It shouldn't have put it anywhere. So, shrug emoji. We just got our Berserker. And we're gonna rename him to Berserk Construct. And we're gonna give him 1 hit point. And yeah, what we're gonna do is, I'm still on the GM layer. No, I'm on the regular layer. All right, so we're just gonna take a whole bunch of these guys and say, every turn, the Forge is gonna summon one of the Berserk construct. Each Forge will summon a Berserk construct. And then, oh, you know what? We're really making this an interesting encounter now. GM layer, going to notes, text. Each round at initiative 20, each Forge summons 1 Berserk construct. Berserk construct. Each Forge has AC 15 and 100 HP each. So that way they can destroy these forges and hopefully stop these constructs. Is 100 enough? I think it is. They're level 14. We'll say they have 200 HP, but they have a lower armor class. So they're easier to hit, but have a little less HP. And berserkers go at initiative 20. Do not go the same turn summoned. So this is a cool little idea where each round we're gonna get more and more berserkers, and we're just gonna keep tossing them on the board, and it's gonna be scary. I like this idea, actually. This is now a very interesting little encounter. And then they have the puzzle to deal with on the other side, which they might attempt to do beforehand, they may do after. Puppers are rust monsters. Oh, shit. Oh, I love that idea, the Forgotten One. That's pretty radical. We're getting good now. On scale, yeah, but it's a little on the nose. We'll see. I'm thinking about that one a little bit more. I'm still like a little iffy about the murdering puppies thing as part of the dungeon. That's just like a little too weird, I think, for me. I like, yeah, that's all. It's just a little funky. So we got our constructs, and all of the constructs have this ability. So actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just make a big thing up here. Construct features. And there we go. So right at the top, I have my construct features. So all of them have that, and hopefully I will be aware, rather than just having it on the character sheets where I can miss it like a dummy. Cool. So we got that. We got the last room. We're going to add a bunch of spirit dwarves. And now we're back to our very first room, which I think is the Sphinx. So we'll add some rust monsters in here. I'll put the rust monsters in cages. I think that'll be fine. Where is this? Oh, I'm not on the GM layer, am I? On scales, magic items on one side, rust monsters in force cage on the other. Choose which to be destroyed in lava, others choose which side to be destroyed in lava. Scale arm equals steps up to next level. Cool. All right, so we're back on this now. We're good. We weakened. Yeah, I mean, rust monsters are already really weak. Like, they're very, very weak for this level. So I don't know how to add the berserkers to my library here. I don't know. Shrug emoji, man. Yeah, I can't just drag them up there, so I'm not sure. Alright, whatever. If I like right click on it, can I do something? Maybe this button. Oh, that's cool. I can open them in the thing. Huh. Okay. Cool. I didn't know that. Alright, so I guess I can't add them to my library, but that's fine because in Roll20, if you have a character token that is connected to something, you can just hold shift and double click on it, and it'll open right up to it. So, and actually, did that one? Yeah, this one's still called, oh, it's still called Berserk Construct. Alright, we're still good. Edit the name. Someday I'll find out where it's putting these, and then I'll be very confused. Cool. So we got our robots, Sphinx. So let's talk a little bit about, let me close that old one tab. Let's talk about our Sphinx. Because this is, I think, the part that I'm the least confident on, in terms of how to run it. Sphinx of crappy jokes. Alright. So, how are we gonna roll with that? Jokes do psychic damage. Am I just gonna Google, like, crappy jokes and get a big list and use those as a Sphinx attacks? That might be an interesting, like, back and forth where they have to make the dumb pun responses to my jokes. Or, just dad jokes. So if I just go to, I'm Googling something on another tab. If I just search dad jokes, and I can get a big list. 75 dad jokes you're going to hate yourself for laughing at. Yeah, okay. Sure. So I guess that's what'll happen. He'll make dad jokes at people, and if they get them, they take psychic damage. If they don't, they win. I guess. This is a very weird encounter here. I also don't have the Sphinx ready, so I can't really toss it on right now. But I will add that and put him on the map when we're ready to roll. But I guess for the most part, like, that's really all we've got left here. We have our adventure hook, which I'm actually very happy with. We have our basic gist. Oh, we also need the black dragon. Shit, I can't forget to add the black dragon. Don't forget to add the black dragon. Oh wait, do I actually have Biyoshi from a previous delve? We do! Biyoshi! Excellent. There we go. Perfect. Biyoshi, we're gonna steal you and add you to the special delve. This is where you live now. Whoa. Alright, so we got Biyoshi, we got our black dragons ready to roll. I'm glad I keep all my tokens from the old delves. So I think he needs them evil tomes. Biyoshi is a purveyor of evil tomes, I think is what it comes out to. So our forge is set. Our lich fight is pretty much set. I need to make those spirit berserkers. So actually, I wonder what else do they have? I don't think we have champion under the SRD. What other monsters might they have in the SRD? I'm very interested now because I'm trying to think. So it'd only be stuff from the player's handbook, right? Or from the monster manual, probably. I don't think they'd have anything else. They'd probably all be humanoids, but I'm trying to think. So I want something like relatively high CR. Is it like Githyanki Knight? No. Of course, that's not in there. Why would that be in there? That's ridiculous. Gladiator? Hey! Alright. But is a gladiator what we want to use for these dwarves is my problem. Even if we kind of swap these out for like hammers and things, I don't really think of spirit dwarves as having a shield to bash. Or a parry. So maybe gladiator is not the direction we want to go for that. Maybe like, do they have orcs? They have a regular orc, which is a probably very low CR. Yeah, CR 1/2. That's gonna be way too weak. I can't even remotely scale that up. Yeah, we might have to werebear? Werebear, maybe. An Andros Sphinx named Pum Daddy Joden? I'm missing something here about the name. Oh, right! Is white in here? It is. And whites are naturally CR3. I think we can easily bump these guys up. Alright. This is cool. I can dig that. Good call. With that one. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to make these guys CR8, or we're going to make them CR9, which gives them a +2 on their proficiency bonus, which means all of their pluses to hit go up by 2 just by default. Which I still don't think that's enough, so we're going to have to make them stronger still. because that obviously isn't just enough. So we got their life drain, which does a d6. So I think we just bump that damage way up and make it 4d6. And we make that long sword. It's still a d8, but so maybe it's a d8 slashing and then 1d8 force because they are spirit guys. Same with the longbow. So we give them a little bit, and maybe we don't give them a longbow. They're dwarfs. They don't have a ranged attack. That spirit looks like he's done with their shit. Let me, where's his picture? Where to put him? Oh, it didn't even have an icon. It just gave me that. Yeah, he does not, I guess that dumb face here is just very done. Whatever. So we got our white. We got to bump up, probably not their AC, because they're not wearing armor. There's going to be natural armor, because they're ghosts. Let's see. What else do you want to give with these guys? Oh, probably more HP. Let's just, like, double that HP up a little bit. So, that should be fine. And then drain life. So what I want to do is I want to make them stronger. I think the way to do that is, let's see what their drain life uses. Drain life has a plus, it had a +4 to hit, so it was either strength, dexterity, or charisma. I think drain life uses a charisma. So at that point, we're going to just bump their charisma up to like a 17, which gives that an extra +1. So +7, I'm a little happier about a +7 at this level, and give them extra damage. And is that a reasonable amount? Yeah, I mean, this is fine-ish. Maybe we'll give them an extra point of, or a couple points of strength because they're dwarves. And that longsword will probably become a warhammer. Or spectral warhammer. And that will be bludgeoning. And yeah, alright. I'm happy with this now. And maybe in its multi-attack, and what are we calling this? Hey, Nemi's here. Howdy. How you doing, Nemi? It's been a while. We're making another dungeon. So Fear Forged Souls. The Fear Forged Soul makes 3 attacks, 1 with its life drain, and 2 with its warhammer. So I'm not sure how many of these we're going to need to make, or how many are going to be needed to make it really threatening. So we're just going to take that, stick them off the board a little bit. And this is how fearful they are. Look at those pictures. They look terrifying. They're totally soulless, just generic icons. I'm pretty happy with this right now. We're getting to a good place. We're making some progress here. So, good. We've buffed up our whites to make them our Fear Forged Dwarf Souls. We've got our Forge encounter that is all set. It's really just the Sphinx that we need to figure out a little better. But even then, I think we can make it a little weird. I know we can get tokens for these guys, but the problem, the Forgotten One, is I don't want to use any tokens whose art isn't just basically, I don't want to use stuff that I don't have the rights to use, and I'm not sure. I mean, that's a sick picture. Don't get me wrong. That's like exactly what I'm kind of thinking of when I think of these guys. Actually, that's almost super on point. But I don't want to use it because I don't really know the usage rights and such. Nemi, I'm glad your campaign's been going well. Hell raising time. Yeah, well, sometimes you gotta raise some hell. Let's see. So we got everything set up there. Everything's good. That's all set. So it's really just that Sphinx. Now, I'll see if there's a Sphinx in here. I doubt it, but holy shit, there's both Sphinxes. All right, everyone, I am incredibly lucky that the Sphinxes are here. So do we want to just throw the Sphinx on here? Yeah, alright, I think I'll throw the Andro Sphinx on. He's scary. We got him, and he is just... Oh, he's also a generic token. So I'm going to go through and I'll get the actual official Dungeons & Dragons art tokens on here later on. So we have our Andro Sphinx, and we're going to give him the feature Punny. And we're going to go look at our thing here. And makes dumb jokes for the players to respond to. Answers must be puns. Take psychic damage if fail joke. And maybe the psychic damage will be like, it'll be like brutal. It'll be like 3d10 psychic. Not a fail joke, if you don't get the joke. And they'll just be all dad jokes. And let me go back to that website I had found for dad jokes. BuzzFeed. Thanks, BuzzFeed. Gonna give myself a link in here for dad jokes. And yeah, that's basically it. Instead of giving the riddles, he's gonna do weird dad jokes. And we'll see how that goes. Nemi, I see you're working on your Demon Lord token. Very nice. Oh, Radical! You see, some people can draw, and it's amazing. And other people are like me, and they can't. And it's like, it's less amazing. Anywho, what was I saying? So I'm gonna need to put in the spells, it looks like. Or maybe I can even drag and drop them. Huh. But we'll worry about those later. I don't know if we're gonna actually end up using those spells super much. Because I think we're gonna be using this Roar a lot. And his punny feature. And I guess they don't have to fight the Sphinx, right? If they get a certain number of his jokes, I guess he lets them go. Maybe like each of them have to get a dumb dad joke or something. Or maybe they have to battle him. They just answered the dad jokes for a while. No, I think they have to battle him to get through. That's going to be a thing. They have to fight him to get through. And then if... and he's just going to do his dad jokes on his turn as one of his attacks. So if that's actually the case... Oh! The Andro Sphinx and the White showed up? Why the fuck didn't the Berserker? What the... Okay, Berserker. Whatever. Anyway. So yeah, we got... Everything seems to be good here. So we got our Andro Sphinx, we got our White, we got Byoshi, which I'm going to just drag Byoshi onto the board so I don't forget. Come on, Byoshi. Where are you? You should appear over here in a second. There we go. So we got Byoshi, we got everything all set up. Except for the flump. I think we're okay without the flump. But I will need to go and double click on that guy to re-up his character sheet. And if this is going to be his attack, it's going to do more than 3d10 psychic damage. Because regular attacks do 2d10 plus 6 slashing. So really they do 3d10 slashing and it makes 2 of them. So we need to make these be 10d6 psychic damage. So I think it's half damage on a success. Alright. Thank you, Sheba. Thank you. That was great. Great jokes! Anyway, let's see. Besides that, I think we're getting close to where we need to be. Let me look. Do we have rust monsters in here? No, we don't have rust monster. Oh. There we do. We do have Rust Monster. Let me drag them on. And Bob, they're going to be hanging out over here. And I'll worry about putting in the icon and stuff for them later. I'm not going to change the Rust Monsters at all. Yeah, if they cringe, they just fail. I'm just showing these nameplates so I can figure out what everything is. And what are we gonna call the Androsphinx? We had a name, I think. Pun Daddy Joden? Is that a thing that I'm not knowing? That I'm missing? D Forgotten One, I saw you mentioned it. Anyway. We're just gonna call him Pun Daddy for now, and we'll come up with a better name. You know, it's gonna be the Punisher. Very. Okay. We got our Rust Monsters. We got our Hun Machine. We've got basically everything. Oh, right. This is not gonna be important. But oh, there's no Flump. Shit. I'll have to import those guys later. We gotta have to put in their info and be all ready for that. But anywho, other than that, at this point, I think we are coming to a close. All of our dynamic lighting is set up and looking good. And actually, I totally screwed something up. This color, that should be in the background layer. This border I put around for the magic. Oh, come on. I'm way into trying to touch it and get it. There we go. I want to make that a different color than my dynamic lighting. So we're going to make that light blue. And hopefully that will, there we go. So now our door teal is not the same color as that. Just so I can tell a little better. But yeah, at this point, I think we're pretty much set. We've got everything all set up. Old Brass Balls with his Spirit Warriors are going to do some work. So I need to put in their tokens in a little bit, but that'll be fine. I shouldn't have any issue. And oh, I moved my Rust Monster down here. Besides that, we're basically good to go. Everything's all set. So thanks for hanging out, guys. That was a very interesting kind of situation we went through there, putting together the whole dungeon. But I thought it was a lot of fun. We definitely came up with something very uniquely interesting. So that's that. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yes, I was confused for a minute. But yeah, pretty good. Did I get the stats for the escorts? Oh shit, that's really important. Do I just have generic dwarf in here? I don't think we do. We have race dwarf, but we don't have. Oh, I've got this commoner. Commoner, perfect. Commoner, come on, where are you? There we go. Now, oh, Commoner got the dumb things too. So Commoners, they're gonna just, they're probably gonna keep this stupid little face they have. And we're gonna say that people can see their nameplates. Dumb Dwarf Escort, or Commoner. Okay, so this is a Dumb Dwarf. Well, maybe just Dumb Dwarf. Alright, we're just gonna throw a bunch of them on. And miraculously, these dwarves aren't all going to die from the Sphinx when it roars. There we go. Now we've got it all on there. We're all good now. And yeah. You know, this actually came together a lot better than I thought it was going to. When I first thought, you know, let's just build it all from scratch and just see how it goes, I was really worried that it was going to be a disaster. Especially since I came in here with, like, really not a lot of pre-planning, I guess you could say. I had a whole shitload of monsters, of which we used a single one. So, I think it worked pretty well, for all things considered. Thank you guys. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I hope y'all had an okay time. And if you're interested in seeing this dungeon in action, check us out tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific here on DnDTime, twitch.tv/DnDTime, where myself and 4 Intrepid Heroes will be tackling this dungeon. Well, I'm going to be running the dungeon, but 4 Intrepid Heroes will be tackling the dungeon. It should be very, very, very exciting. Yeah, I guess that's all I got for tonight, folks. Thanks for hanging out. I love all of you. Thank you for the good time and for all the creative assistance. And I will catch you all on the flip side. Take care.